Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another War of the Visions video, and welcome to part 2 of this Wednesday's tons of stuff coming out this week video. What a grand title that was to this video. Anyway, we're going to talk about the Final Fantasy 1 reissue collaboration right here, Warrior of Light, Death Machine, gear upgrades. We're going to talk about this like Chad dude over here on the screen, Warrior of Light, who back in his day was the best tank in the game. It's been a long time since it was his day, but he was once really powerful, but now we exist in a world where it's a little bit harder to run tanks than it ever has been before. So if you're gonna run a tank, they need to be special. Back in the day, this man was special. Is he gonna be special again with this Master Ability 2 upgrade? Do we need to wait for the Dream Enhancement? We're gonna talk about those things right now. Let's get to it and let's talk about Warrior of Light. So, first of all, this guy's old master ability was not very good for a tank. It was 20% attack, 5 defense. We are getting his master ability 2 this week, and it gives him a lot of stuff. First of all, he gets the light group buff. That's really important. That gives him and his allies 10% more HP and light attack to his allies. Like, this buff is a big deal, and it really hurt Warrior of Light up until now that he didn't come with this, because there's a lot of light comps out there that could run Warrior of Light, but instead went for like Engelbert or something, because Engelbert gives this group buff, and Engelbert is Engelbert, right? So is Warrior of Light going to ascend to that level? We'll see. Anyway, he gets that HP and light attack buff, which is nice. The 20% attack stays the same, and he gains 10 defense. I think that's really important. 5 defense does not feel impactful in today's game. 15 defense feels a little bit better. He also just picks up a flat 20% more magic resistance. Okay, I really like that. And most importantly are these last two. He picks up initial aggro 5, which is a big deal because this man before this had to rely on buffing his aggro. His aggro buff, that's a defense, spirit, and aggro buff, was OP back in the day. It was a big deal that this guy could run out there, buff his own hate, and his defense and spirit made him super hard to kill. Again, that move has fallen off in relevance. If you wanted to go for some of his other TP skills, which are great, now maybe you can, because he starts with a little bit of initial aggro to draw those first couple hits from the enemy team. So I really like this. Then also a big deal about Warrior of Light is he can heal himself. Previously, it had to almost be the start of like a second fight in Guild Wars for him to trigger his self-healing, which was really nice. But now, whenever his HP drops below 50%, he's going to self-heal. That's really nice. So you knock him below 50%, boom, he's going to self-heal. Now, it's not infinite. I think it only happens once, right? Like, it's not like he's going to heal himself back above 50, then you knock him down below 50 and he heals again. But this is really nice because one of the reasons why it's harder to run tanks in the game right now than ever before is when you could make tanks almost unkillable, you ran them with a support almost all the time. I call that like standard. Warrior of Light was tanky enough that you'd beat on him a little bit, Yuna would heal him up. You'd beat on him some more, Yuna would heal him up. By this time, your DPS unit has cleaned up the fight probably, and there you go. Nowadays, it's a lot better off, in my opinion, to run 2 DPS units or 2 bruisers or something like that. So Warrior of Light being able to take care of his own healing is a big deal. This does help him do that. I like it a lot. Now, what are we not getting yet that JP got with this rerun? JP got his level 140, which gives him 20% more HP, making this man a god of HP over in JP. He also gets 20 more healing power and an upgrade to his invincible shield too. That is a big deal because when we're talking about Warrior of Light, the thing I was kind of focusing on a second ago was his Brave Presence buff, right? This is the TP move that before now you always had to run this. And I think you still probably will in a lot of situations because 12 defense and 12 spirit is nice, but 12 aggro, this was how he generated hate. If you want him to generate 12 more hate, you still run this and you're happy with the defense and spirit. However, he has this move right here, Invincible Shield 2. This gives him a 35% damage reduction to, it actually gives it to an ally, but with his initial hate buff, he will now target himself with this if you run it on turn 1. That's a big deal. So I think that's a nice upgrade for this buff, that he gets that initial hate. Also, when we do get his dream upgrade, this goes to a 50% damage shield. It has 2 uses, so it's good in both Arena and Guild Wars. This move is great. well, let me say, this move is really good right now. It becomes great later. This is what Warrior of Light's going to look like. I think he does eventually slide in to that special tank category. How good will he be with just his master ability 2 and not his dream enhancement? Nobody knows, because that never existed until global for the next 3 months. They have already said that we are getting we're getting his dream upgrade in about, what they say, like March, I think. So okay, we know we're getting this in March, along with all that HP and all those other goodies. That's Warrior of Light, a tank that can take care of his own healing, can buff himself, give himself that big shield. I think he's a really good unit. Do you need to pull for him right now? No, I don't think you do. But if you like Warrior of Light, if you already have him, it's a really nice upgrade. If you just want him, he's going to do you fine. He's going to do you good. If you just want to pull for him because you want him and that's how you play the game, you do you. That's great. Now, we're also getting some other stuff with this rerun. We are getting the Death Machine Vision Card in Esper. Let's talk about this a little bit. Death Machine Vision Card has a lot of HP, a decent amount of attack, and some magic on it. It gives Pierce Resist 10 to the unit wearing it, which honestly, for a unit buff, this feels very old, and it is very old. I don't think that's super good. AoE Resist 20, and its true Rainbow AoE Resist 20 is nice. I like that for the party effect. There are still times where I will run this vision card in a rainbow team. Critical evasion for fire kind of sucks. It is a mid-level vision card in my opinion. The AoE resist 20 is the big deal here. However, it comes with an Esper. This Esper for tanks is very, very good. The big drawback to it is it only has 13 agility. So for a UR Esper, it is slow. Like, do not forget that it only has 13 agility, it's slow, but it comes with 10 ice resist. There's a plenty of ice teams out there that you want to build ice resist against. For the skill tree on it, it has missile resist, which is even better against fighting ice, because y'all know ice is stacking Elia and Eliza out there. And defense. So a very good tank Esper, right? And then you have some accuracy on here, fire resist if you ever happen to be in a scenario where you're fighting fire, machine killer for PvE, and a little slash attack if you want to go with like a bruiser build right here. Or if you're fighting ice, you can go with ice killer as well. So I think the Esper is really good, and I do get some run out of this Esper, but I'm somebody who can play fire. A lot of people in Global cannot play fire, so I like to use this on somebody like Raldor sometimes, right? If you're a Raldor player, this is a good Esper for you. And any Vision Card Esper combo is pretty good. I would say if you're thinking about pulling for this, if they just hand this out, if they're like, hey, it's 2K paid and you get Death Machine, great. Go get it for that if the banner is insanely good. If not, I don't think you spend like 20k biz on something like this, or 10k biz, especially with all the stuff we have coming out. So that's my little breakdown there. Then we're not quite done. We have two pieces of gear with this collaboration that are getting their +6. First of all, Sword of Light. This is a super good weapon that's useful for both your physical and magic light sword users. There's two versions of this you could build. The assault version is going from 152 to 167 damage. Okay, that's nice. The magic version goes from 126 to 139. So both versions getting a little buff in their damage stat. The light attack 30 stays the same. The slash attack 15 stays the same. But now you will pick up slash attack resist penetration 10. So once again, this is good for both magic and physical slash attackers. Sword of Light gets a nice little upgrade right here. I use Sword of Light all the time. It's a good piece of gear. Farm that thing out. Then we have Armor of Light. This is a really outdated piece of gear in Global right now that was super good when it came out. Is it going to be great again? Well, the Shield and Barrier version are both going to have the same amount of main defense stats. The Shield version was already decent at 15. It goes to 17. Okay, I dig that. The Barrier version goes from 12 to 17. Okay, that's a 5 upgrade. That's nice. And both catch a lot of HP. Almost, what, 164? Is that right? Is my math good right there? 165? 164 HP on both versions. That's nice. The Vital version actually has 818, which is a big number, but only 4 defense and spirit, so Anyway, the magic resist 8 stays the same, and it now picks up 7 dark resist. Pretty decent. 7 dark resist, I kind of like that. I would rather it have been 10 because we already have pieces of gear in this game that give 10 dark resist, but that's just an MR piece of armor that you can just farm as much of as you want. I do like 7 dark resist. I like the 17 of the stat with a lot of HP. If you're a newer player, this could be a really good piece of gear for you for that magic resist and that HP defense and spirit. There you go. If you already have better options for like anti-dark, maybe you don't farm a ton of this. We'll see. Anyway, that is the Final Fantasy 1 reissue preview video. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you are pulling on anything this week, good luck to you. I will be live Wednesday like I always am, maybe a little earlier because of like Christmas break being for school this week. We'll see. It's also my wife's birthday on that day, so I probably need to, like, you know, do something for that, or I'm a bad husband. Anyway, so we'll see. We'll plan it all around that. I will see you there. It's been a minute since I've been live. I'm excited to be back, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.